Soundtrack number 1 begins with a light-hearted moment between our two main characters, Sunwoo and Eun Soo, during a photo shoot. The scene sets a playful tone as Sunwoo snaps pictures of Eun Soo, both of them teasing each other. We learn they've been best friends since they were just 9 years old, and today, Sunwoo is helping Eun Soo with some photos. While waiting for the pictures, Eun Soo admires the various shots displayed on the walls. Curious, she asks Sunwoo about his upcoming photography exhibition, showing her support for his work. Sunwoo is a skilled photographer, and Eun Soo is a lyricist. She goes to meet Kang-woo, a composer she wants to impress. But things don't go as planned. Kang-woo isn't impressed with her lyrics, saying they lack the depth of someone who's experienced unrequited love. He feels her words are too light and fail to resonate emotionally. Rejected, Eun Soo pleads for another chance and manages to get herself 2 more weeks to prove her worth. Frustrated but determined, she turns to Sunwoo for advice. That's when she comes up with a bold suggestion. They should live together for a few weeks. It makes sense. Eun Soo's deadline is looming. Maybe living together will spark the creativity she needs. As they walk home through the snow, Sunwoo unexpectedly admits that he's decided to cancel his upcoming exhibition. Instead, he wants to start fresh, which raises questions about what's really going on with him. With Sunwoo's friend Donghyun taking over his house, thanks to his girlfriend's visit, Sunwoo is left crashing at the workshop. As he tries to settle in, his mind drifts back to the photos he took of Eun Soo earlier in the day, clearly unable to shake thoughts of her. We're then taken back in time to 4 years ago, where Sunwoo definitely had feelings for Eun Soo, but she refused to indulge in fearing that if they dated and eventually broke up, their close friendship would be destroyed, something she couldn't bear. Fast forward to the present, and Sunwoo shows up at Eun Soo's place, suitcase in hand, ready to accept her offer of living together. He helps her tidy up the apartment. Sunwoo's feelings are evident, especially when Eun Soo starts talking about Kang-woo, the composer she's eager to impress. The more she gushes about Kang-woo, the more Sunwoo's jealousy starts to show. The two share drinks together, and as the night goes on, Eun Soo drinks a little too much. She ends up snuggling next to Sunwoo on the floor, completely unaware of the effect she has on him. While she sleeps peacefully, Sunwoo spends the night wide awake, watching her, unable to hide his feelings. In another flashback, we see Sunwoo hiding a big plush teddy bear when Eun Soo comes outside to ask him for drinks. The next morning, Eun Soo wakes up to find herself still cuddled up to Sunwoo, her head resting on his arm. Embarrassed, she quickly pulls away, and both are left feeling awkward and unsure of how to react. While Sunwoo tries to laugh it off, calling the whole situation crazy, Eun Soo takes a moment to gather her thoughts as she brushes her teeth, clearly just as conflicted. Over breakfast, the two try to make sense of what happened, agreeing to blame the cold weather for their cozy sleeping arrangement. That explanation seems to satisfy them, at least for now. Later, Eun Soo dives into her work, starting to write lyrics for the song titled "The Distance Between You and Me." As Sunwoo listens to the demo, the lyrics hit a little too close to home, reflecting the emotional distance he feels between them. The two take the demo to Eun Soo's producer, who brings up the topic of unrequited love once again and broaches the subject with Sunwoo. But Sunwoo, defensive and still jealous of any male attention Eun Soo receives, dismisses it and sarcastically claims that Kang-woo is pretentious. It's clear that Sunwoo's jealousy isn't just about the composer, but about anyone who seems to get too close to Eun Soo. On the drive home, they end up arguing. Frustrated, Sunwoo can't take it anymore and asks Eun Soo to drop him off. He needs time to clear his head. Later, Sunwoo finally makes up his mind. He's going to confess his feelings to Eun Soo. Just as he steps out the door, Eun Soo shows up with flowers and an apron, apologizing for their fight. Her sudden appearance catches Sunwoo completely off guard, adding another layer of confusion to their already complicated relationship. After their argument is resolved, Eun Soo and Sunwoo are surprised by a visit from Eun Soo's mother, who happens to be carrying a set of tarot cards. Deciding to have a little fun, she offers to read Sunwoo's fortune. As she flips the cards over one by one, she mentions something about faraway love. But the knowing look she gives Sunwoo suggests that she's aware of his feelings for her daughter, though she doesn't say it outright. Before leaving, Eun Soo's mother hands Sunwoo one of the tarot cards, calling it his lucky charm and urging him to keep it with him. It's a small but significant gesture, almost as if she's giving him her blessing. Later that night, Sunwoo and Eun Soo stay up late, working together on her song lyrics. While Sunwoo is taking a shower, Dongyeon calls, and Eun Soo answers instead. He asks her to send him some files from Sunwoo's laptop, specifically from a folder labeled Collection 21. After sending the files, Eun Soo's curiosity gets the better of her, and she starts browsing through Sunwoo's photo collection. What she finds leaves her speechless. Hundreds of photos of her, dating all the way back to 2008. These aren't just casual pictures. They reveal how long Sunwoo has been quietly harboring feelings for her, capturing moments she didn't even realize were special. For the first time, Eun Soo begins to truly understand the depth of his feelings, and it's a realization that shakes her. When Sunwoo comes out of the shower, Eun Soo seizes the opportunity to ask him about his crush. Sunwoo, clearly uncomfortable, brushes off her questions and tells her to drop it. Of course, it's clear to us that Sunwoo's crush is none other than Eun Soo herself. Meanwhile, Eun Soo is grappling with her own emotions. As she reviews her notebook, she realizes that her lyrics are filled with unspoken feelings that mirror her own repressed emotions. This self-discovery takes her back to a memory from school, when she gifted Sunwoo a new camera and they talked about their future. In the present, Sunwoo receives some exciting news. He's been accepted to collaborate with a renowned artist. However, this opportunity comes with a catch. He must leave Korea within the week. Sunwoo is torn, knowing how his departure would impact Eun Soo. Meanwhile, Eun Soo meets with Kang-woo to present her revised lyrics. Kang-woo is impressed and encourages her, saying, "You're doing great." He even arranges a meeting for her with the artist the following evening. That night, Eun Soo discusses love with her friends, Mari and Han, who have their own past as friends turned lovers. Back at home, Sunwoo tells Eun Soo that he's liked his crush for 8 years. That is, of course, when he and Eun Soo started getting closer together. He also says that he is going to confess to her. Eun Soo wakes up the next morning with her mind racing. She's overwhelmed by doubt and fear, and in a rush, she leaves the house without giving Sunwoo the chance to speak. That evening, Eun Soo and Kang-woo are having dinner together when Sunwoo unexpectedly barges in, clearly uncomfortable but determined to join them. His intrusion highlights his jealousy and protective nature, as he shoots piercing glances at Kang-woo, making it clear he's not thrilled about Eun Soo's attention being elsewhere. The next day, Sunwoo proudly shows Eun Soo the bike he's fixed up for her. He tries to talk about his departure, but Eun Soo thinks he's going to confess and dismisses it, focusing instead on how great their friendship is. Sunwoo, however, has something more significant to say. He finally admits that he's leaving for his new gig, which could launch him into fame. This news catches Eun Soo off guard, and Sunwoo decides to keep his deeper feelings to himself for now. As they wait for the bus, Eun Soo asks Sunwoo to listen to her song when it's released. This moment evokes a memory from their past. When Sunwoo was about to leave for military service, he visited Eun Soo at work for goodbye. His departure left Eun Soo devastated, and she broke down in tears as he left. In the present, Eun Soo reflects on how she's now experiencing a similar kind of pain, understanding unrequited love in a way she hadn't before. She muses that maybe this heartbreak will inspire her to write the best lyrics of her life. In a flashback, we see Sunwoo returning to the restaurant to find Eun Soo crying, a poignant reminder of the emotional impact of his departure and the depth of their connection. Eun Soo throws herself into her music, determined to make her lyrics shine. Throughout the process, she keeps Sunwoo's scarf close, a tangible reminder of him. Fast forward a year, and Eun Soo has achieved significant success as a lyricist. Her talent is now so renowned that even Taeyoon, a music god, as Mari puts it, wants to collaborate with her. Despite her achievements, Eun Soo can't shake the feeling of missing Sunwoo. She's excited to share the news with Mari and Han, but his absence is palpable. She sends him a message about working with Taeyoon, but receives no reply. Meanwhile, Sunwoo finally tries to get in touch with Dongyeon, but his call is plagued with poor signal and he can't stay connected. Eun Soo's phone rings, and she's disappointed to see it's producer Kang Woo calling to invite her to dinner. During their meal, Kang Woo puts Eun Soo on the spot, revealing that he wants to date her. The dinner, it turns out, was a setup to force this confession. Eun Soo is straightforward in her response, telling Kang Woo that she's not fond of wine and doesn't feel a romantic spark with him. Kang Woo, though initially taken aback, appreciates her honesty and decides to switch to beers. They agree to continue working together as friends. Later, Eun Soo's mother arrives at her house and the conversation inevitably turns to Sunwoo. Eun Soo asks her mother to do a tarot card reading, just as she had for Sunwoo. Eun Soo picks the same card Sunwoo once chose, the one depicting shadows of a couple holding hands. Eun Soo's mother then confesses that she had lied about the card's meaning earlier. It actually signifies someone very close to the person in question. After messaging Sunwoo and not receiving a reply, Eun Soo checks out the stuffed bear he gifted her and finds a note and necklace tucked inside. The note reads that he'll always be by her side, no matter what, prompting Eun Soo to reach out again, saying she has something important to share. The next day, Sunwoo unexpectedly reappears and runs into Eun Soo at a flower shop. He has brought a variety of chocolates, a notebook and a pen. It turns out that Sunwoo is back in Korea for only 10 days before heading to Prague. The flowers, however, are not for Eun Soo. They're for Mari, whose birthday is being celebrated that night. Han surprises Mari with a heartfelt song and a brand new ring, making the evening a joyful celebration. The following morning, Eun Soo decides to surprise Sunwoo at the studio, but he's not alone. He has a new assistant, Seo-yeon. Jealousy stirs within her as she watches their interaction. When Seo-yeon takes a taxi home, Eun Soo seizes the opportunity to ask Sunwoo to walk her home. During the walk, Eun Soo gathers her courage and broaches the topic of dating, but she struggles to actually ask him directly. Instead, she's left agonizingly watching him leave, unable to voice her feelings. Eventually, Eun Soo musters the courage to confess her feelings to Sunwoo. She apologizes for not recognizing her true feelings, and his, sooner. She gives him the notebook and asks him to finish the song as his response. Sunwoo takes this crucial step and completes the song with a single heartfelt sentence. "Please stay by my side. I love you." As he leans in, the two share a passionate kiss, sealing their emotions and newfound clarity. In the aftermath, Sunwoo and Eun Soo enjoy each other's company, embracing and listening to music together. At a nearby table, Han, Dongyeon, and Mari chat about how they always knew that Sunwoo and Eun Soo would end up together.